They're Pinky and the Brain. Yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius and the other's insane. He's singing. Yeehaw! Playing with the sound effects, and that's another thing we need to get better at.
Well, I do, like, we will work on it, but, you know.
At least we have the facility.
What if we get a copyright strike because you're freaking Pinky and the Brain shit now? I'm sure we won't. It's under 30 seconds.
It was a cappella, come on.
Yeah, no, totally. And it didn't have the original tune. And
exactly.
And there's a good possibility you weren't on key. I'm not insulting you.
Okay, so let's move along swiftly then before it gets
going, dude? I couldn't do any better, 100%. So
I was theatrically trained, damn you.
So, dude, like, so we've been mentioning like weird and wonderful things we collect and why we collect. So I think, and I want to do like more of these videos. Not too many.
This next bit, like, terrible. A regular segment, I think, periodically. You just have to revisit this particular topic that you're going to introduce.
Because fun fact, if I run out of things, it'll force me to buy cool stuff. So, you know, win-win.
So why don't you tell the folks what we'd like to introduce them to now?
Okay, so I'm going first. So just for some context, before I pull this up, we mentioned a while ago that how much of an insane experience it was for me at Comic-Con Africa, for us being in South Africa and having access to these artists that we would never usually see, you know. And I think the guys in the States are quite spoiled because there's cons happening basically every weekend when it's Comic-Con season. Not so much for us, but so, and I mentioned him, a gentleman called Jesus Marino was brought down by the company, I think Jack Kirby Collectibles or Comics, similar to their name.
Kirby's Art.
Yeah, and he's done
Annabelle. Give a shout out to Annabelle. She's awesome.
No, we should definitely. And this dude has done art for Justice League Dark and Wonder Woman and stuff. And what I did is, it costs a bit of an arm and a leg, but I got what's called, man, I wish I brought one out, but we'll maybe try one on the screen, but it's called a blank sketch variant. And what it is it has a title of the book, but the whole book is white. And what this does is it gives you the opportunity when you're at a con to get one of your famous artists to literally draw you something. It does usually cost quite a pretty penny. And what I did is I took this Witching Hour title, it's a Justice League Dark title, and I've got Jesus Marino to draw a whole Zatanna from me for scratch. What a surprise, Zatanna, you know, Mark. Another note is you'll see that there's a logo here that appears in our intro, and it actually comes from my company that I run for a living, and I had a really good mate called Gareth Steely. He designed the logo for me. Shout out to him. And I've just liked the logo so much that it's become like a part of me in every way, and I've carried it through in everything I've done. And that's why, you know, when we started the Silent Pod, you know, it was a logical thing. We both, you really liked the logo, so, you know, we kind of like pulled it in and used elements of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't get enough of it. So I had the whole idea of having him Zatanna casting a spell of the logo. So again, this goes back to collecting. So I can't resell this book because this logo means nothing to anyone else. This is
you would never ever want to resell it.
Exactly.
That's the beauty.
So I mean, there's all kinds of combinations besides the fact that it's Justice League Dark book. Zatanna is on here, an artist I really like drew it, and it's got my logo. This is, to me, is just timeless and priceless.
And I think I just need to step in. I was with Mark at Comic Con when we were so fortunate because we made a new friend, a guy named Johan, who sort of introduced us to Annabelle and her range of artists that she brought out to Comic Con Africa. And Mark liked Jesus Marino's art style. He approached him. We kind of explained the idea, and Mark kind of had to stand there hand gesturing to kind of what he was envisioning in his mind. And I remember vividly when we didn't see the final product. We kind of like, we went around the con, we did our own thing. We went home and we came back the next day, and it was ready for us the next day. And I remember seeing that look on your face where I think that final piece was 100 times, 1,000 times more than what you could have ever envisioned.
Yeah, definitely. No, and that was part of like the edge is like, I didn't, I gave him an idea, but it was a loose idea. I gave him a lot of free range, but like you said, like way above my expectations. It's like like looking in the corner of my eye, and I just like can't stop looking at it, and I'm gonna turn it over here.
And the thing that I loved about it was Marino, he knows the character well enough, and he took that extra mile, because Mark mentioned in one of the other video clips, whenever Zatanna casts a spell, in the comics and that, it's the word or the sentence written backwards, and he actually wrote or drew her casting the spell, and I think the spell is appear, but he wrote it backwards, which is quite cool.
For my logo to appear, yeah, exactly. And there is a few other items I got. Maybe if we've got time, I'll dive into them, but I'm going to keep it to that for now. So it might give me things for later. But yeah, if I'm tempted and with this time, I'll grab some stuff at the back there. But yeah, dude, that's it in a nutshell. It's like, I want to try keep it simple for today. So that's not particularly expensive. And I had mates that told me like, dude, you got to send this to CGC. It's got Marino's signature on. It can be witnessed and get a yellow label. And I'm like, I'm going to spend so much money and I don't need it. It's perfect in a frame because I'm not buying it for that reason, So, and I'm glad because also if you send it to CGC, for people who don't know, we have talked about CGC, but that book gets sent away and it gets put in a queue for sometimes up to 6 months easily. And to me, that defeats the point of taking something that a person just drew from scratch for me and I get to take it home with me. And just stroke it and be like, my precious, So yeah, no, I'm happy that I just took it and didn't bother about CGC. And I got nothing against CGC, but again, I think, horses for courses.
You weren't doing it for the value. This was a pure sentimentality thing.
Definitely, yeah. So, dude, I don't know if you want to maybe show a couple of your things.
I can. When we had the idea, for me initially this was like, oh my god, this is too daunting because I have so many things in my collection that for various reasons mean so much to me. And I walked into my spare room and these 3 things kind of jumped out at me initially, and I thought, great, I'm just going to go with these for now, and hopefully if we do more of these segments, I don't know what we call them, sort of like our why or the love of collecting or the little jewels. I don't know. We'll come up with something, but there definitely are little bits that sometimes stand out amongst the rest of the stuff. And the first one was it's something that I found. I went on a little action figure binge shopping spree of late before isolation and lockdown, and I was looking on the sort of Marvel Legends action figure line and what they've done or what they've created. And I came across this one that I thought, here it is for all these people out there. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see it perfectly.
Okay, great. It's a character called Death's Head, and in particular Death's Head number 2. And he's kind of scary looking. He's kind of like mean and all of that. Sure.
Got a bit of a Skeletor look.
Hey?
Got a bit of a Skeletor look.
Yeah, totally. And Death's Head 2 was a character that I never in a million years thought I would see made into action figures. It was at one stage in the 90s, Marvel launched a UK branch of their stuff, and the artists and the writers there were doing stuff that was very more in line with, I think Terminator 2 was a popular movie, so it was characters that were like sort of Terminator-ish liquid metal, skeleton-y, exoskeleton. So those of you that don't know, the British comic scene, one of the more popular stuff there is all about the apocalyptic type comics in 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, Strontium Dog, those kinds of comics. So he was the right character, I think, for that market. They said too, and I got hold of some of those comics. I loved them. I loved the art. It all appealed to me, and it was just a guilty little pleasure of mine in my teens growing up. Hardcore skull character, mean, badass. And I never thought I would see that thing in an action figure. And when I saw they did it in Marvel Legends, I couldn't believe it. I was like, it doesn't matter what it costs. Instant buy,
Nice.
in shopping cart, had to own it. The next one that popped out as I walked into my room and made me smile is this one that I got recently. I think you were with me and you already got it. It's the new...
Oh, hectic.
Yeah, the Doom Slayer from the new McFarlane line, in line with... those that don't know, there's a PC game out there called Doom, and it was an old staple from when I was growing up, and this is the title character. You play this Doom character, this Doom Slayer, and you run around and you kill demons that are literally coming or invading from hell. And recently, a couple of years back, they remade the Doom game and they relaunched it on all the major platforms out there, and subsequently now, I think it's just come out, is the new remake of the second edition of Doom Eternal, and they brought out this action figure from McFarlane Toys. I love McFarlane Toys. I've loved them from Todd's Toys, and they evolved into McFarlane Toys. They pioneered a lot of the action figures, more almost like little pieces of art, little slightly movable sculptures in their heyday. And now in their third sort of iteration, McFarlane has gone down the popular action figure route. Heavy detail, but heavily posable, multiple points of articulation and stuff. And that one is special for me, mostly because of when I was a kid, I used to play these games, PC games, with my cousin Alon. He's currently in America right now, but this is a big shout out to him because some of the fondest memories I have of my childhood was him and I staying up late, trying to get through the Doom game, getting scared out of our wits when these weird demons and creatures would come, or at that age it was like, oh my god, look at it, it's like a 3-horned demon type thing, or it's got like multiple eyes, or, and it was just cool. It was a graphic game, it was a violent game. You could like hack these things up with chainsaws and crowbars and blow them away with double-barrel shotguns. It's such a happy memory for me. And as I walked into my room and I saw him sitting on the shelf, I didn't even think of Doom. I just thought of my cousin, and him and I just hours on end playing Doom and awesome. Trying to clock the game and find the secrets in it and everything. And before he went to America, we actually played the new game together, and we went on this quest to not just finish the game, but find every single little secret in the game too. And there was like 2 solid days of us just sitting there playing.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome.
Back then it was pretty much Doom, Wolfenstein, and Duke Nukem, I think. It was pretty much staple.
100%. Wolfenstein started it.
Yeah.
Doom took it to a new level. But Doom wasn't pure 3D. It was a multi-layer, two-dimensional shooter. And then Wolfenstein and Quake, Duke Nukem and Quake were the ones that made it proper 3D type worlds and stuff like that.
Quake. Yeah.
Love those games, man. And then the last one, again, as I walked in, I saw this tucked away in the corner of my shelf. And it's kind of linked to the earlier video we did where it was all about collecting, and I mentioned my card collecting, and this is a limited edition collector's tin box set of my favorite cards, the Marvel Masterpieces from 1992 by Jusko, and inside it's not very flashy or anything, but it's got the entire base set over here, plus the set of all the Chase original collector cards, and then right at the back, wrapped up, they did a couple prototype cards. So there's a whole series of cards that he painted. They were in the initial run, and for various reasons, I don't know if it was card count or editorial decisions or something, but there were, I think, about 5 or 6 cards that never made it into the final run that was released to the public. And this box set has those 5 or 6 cards as well included in there, the outliers to the set. So when I got back into card collecting quite seriously, one of the guys that I connected with in the communities, he alerted me to the fact that they were going to be releasing this anniversary collected tin set, and would I like one if we could potentially get our hands on it? I was like, dude, don't even ask for whatever it costs. I'm down for that. This is my ultimate set. So yeah, man, I don't even need to open the tin to look at it and get this sense of pride, love, nostalgia. Yeah, it's just one of those jewels, those rare jewels that stand head and shoulders above some of the other things that I've got for various reasons.
Nice, dude. That's very cool.
Yeah, man. So those are them for now, I guess. I'm sure when we do video 2, version 2, there'll be other things that at that moment in time will be bringing us the joy and the love and making us feel proud, etc. But yeah, those are mine.
Yeah, that's it for now. Cool.
Do we have some time, or do you want to touch on one or two of the other ones you're thinking of?
I think there is one other one that I'm going to touch on quickly, and there's a strategic reason for it. I'm just going to grab it.
Okay.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because it's also something I had sketched with my logo on, and I don't want to get the poor viewers so sick of just everything with my logo in it, right? So I want some variations. So just for some context, at the exact same Comic-Con that I mentioned earlier, I got Will Sliney to do something really cool, and he did a Galactus for me holding my logo. And
very cool.
Also, it's just ridiculous. I don't even know how he drew this in one sitting. This entire cover, if anyone can see properly, it's literally everything but the writing. He's sketched everything, and it's amazing. I love the idea of someone as big as Galactus, holding something like the logo. It's so if it's important to him, it's got to be important to the universe, right? So it's cool, and all the artists signed this book and stuff. So again, I think that's all the logo stuff I'm going to drill into your guys' skull. From now on, it'll kind of just be standardized things. But I'll reiterate, I just love the idea that literally there's one of this in this world. I'm sure he's done similar sketches, but none of them have this logo and stuff. So, yeah, man.
It's completely unique.
Yeah, that's it.
That
man. And I guess we could just think of other stuff for next time. But I think that's it for now, dude.
Yeah, man. I think that I like this idea. I like this segment, and I'm excited to roll on with it because, it like you say, it's not only going to force us to expand on our collections a little bit, but just like I said, running into my little library, my room, where all my stuff is, and just at a quick glance looking around it. As I spotted these things, I was like, oh my God, I have to show people this. Oh my God, I have to show that. That feeling of being able to share the passion, the love, etc., that is attached to these weird and random things in my life. I'm looking forward to doing more of it.
Yeah, and it's cool. I actually think you touched on something quite cool. It might not be formal, but to talk about going ahead, the kind of format that you and I have been envisioning. Obviously now we're in lockdown and we're doing the best we can, but I think the idea is, when we get out of this, we can get in the same room. We want to have maybe perhaps we're still working out the technicalities, but a dedicated camera that will actually show what we show in all its glory, instead of us trying to stick it in a camera. We'll have a separate cuts in, and it might be some different angles that you guys can see it and see it better. So that is our hope. That's kind of what we're working on. But, we wanted to get started now, obviously, because we're trying to do the best with the time we have,
yeah, man.
In these uncertain times.
And in these uncertain times, we have nothing but time.